This episode of the podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. Visit patreon.com/lightscameranonsense to help support your favorite new movie podcast. Now, let's roll that reel.
Zach, I didn't really have
You're right there.
Yeah, I had to do a deep sigh. I don't know what that was for.
Just life catching up with you.
Life catching up with me, just kind of reeling from... I don't want to complain because I had a 4-day weekend, right? This is Sunday. I don't want to complain about having this much time off, but I feel kind of bad. I feel like I could have done a lot more. You know how you get that feeling sometimes where you finish the weekend and, oh, okay, no, because you're always busy. That's right.
Maybe if you had asked me a couple months ago, I would have been like, maybe, yeah, sure. I don't think I would have done it even then, but yeah, maybe. But no, not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, my work weeks subsist of being on the clock on various jobs until like 8 p.m.
Right.
So.
And having to do it from home definitely takes away from that. So it's like, or doing a part of it from home at least, Yeah. So, well, anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie magic you may have missed. I'm Nick, currently hoisted by a million balloons Simmons.
And I'm Zach, still hasn't seen No Way Home. Wait, yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah.
What's it even called? I don't even know what it's called.
It's No Way Home.
All that, Smith.
Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. It's their own damn fault for, boxing themselves in with the whole home aspect. Honestly, I don't understand why they made that trilogy called, like, the Home Trilogy. Or, like, the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. I don't know why they had to box themselves in with, like, a specific word or phrase. Like, just call it whatever. We would have accepted it as a comic book movie.
The Whatever trilogy?
No, not like Spider-Man Whatever From Home.
Spider-Man Whatever. It's like What If, but less, questioning.
Yeah, they don't really care about it. Let's
like,
question
yeah, whatever happens, happens.
Well, I just lost my entire momentum. And on February 6th, 2022, let's roll into the previews. If you're watching us on YouTube, you're actually watching us late. We post on our Patreon at patreon.com/goodgoose. That's our Patreon where we upload all of our Lights, Camera, Nonsense podcasts, as well as bonus content that you don't even see on our YouTube channel. Bonus. If you don't even want to watch our faces and you just want to listen to our sultry, silky smooth voices, you can also
baby, come on in close. Donate.
Dear God,
please.
Oh man,
please donate.
Oh, that sounds like a caveman has trapped me in a dark closet. I don't know how I feel about that, especially if he's like the Geico caveman. Yeah. He's like 50% or more.
Hey, he was smarter. They made a whole TV show
they did.
Of it
that lasted...
to explain that they're smarter than your average caveman.
Are you sure? Have you watched that recently?
No. I didn't even watch it at all. Who would watch that?
I watched some of it.
There's a reason why it was canceled.
Yeah, because you don't base an entire TV series off of a 30-second commercial. That's what you do. Somehow the SNL is able to do that with all of their skits, making, like Coneheads, Wayne's World, Ladies Man, all that kind of stuff, but you can't do caveman. You can't do smart caveman.
Usually the skits aren't trying to sell you something, so that would be part one.
Well, and that doesn't stop them from selling merchandise with the character's name on it.
But I mean, the difference would be the cavemen were part of a service that was trying to be sold. You're trying to make a TV show out of an ad instead of an ad out of a TV show.
I suppose. The way it works. I suppose. But, it's all about money. It's all about business out here in the business world. Like
Capitalism, baby.
Woohoo! Merc. I hate it here. If you don't want to watch our faces and you just want to listen to our sultry voices, you can also listen to us on Spotify, Last.fm, iTunes, anywhere you like to listen to music. We're probably there in podcast form. Just make sure to rate us 5 stars, thumbs up. It really helps us out. Zach, let's dive in. What did you watch this week?
Oh God, I can't swim. I forgot.
Help!
No.
Help me! What did you watch this week?
So much like last week, I just stuck to TV. It's kind of hard for me to muster up the mental capacity to watch a movie these days. Maybe I'll get back around to it. Who knows? But so far, TV has been treating me just fine.
That's fair.
I watched the newest episode of Abbott Elementary, which is still fantastic. I implore you to please watch.
I don't want to trample on your plea to just watch it. I watched the first 2 episodes. Not for me. To be fair,
you're not a big Office fan though, right?
I like The Office. I like Parks and Rec. I like all of the fake mockumentary type of sitcoms. But I just feel like it's been done for so long, and I've watched so much of The Office. I've watched so much of those kind of shows. I'm kind of just done with that kind of format.
All right, fair. I still think Abbott is one of the better. Like I never could get into Parks and Rec. I did watch all of The Office, but I guess because I didn't really watch a whole lot of those other than The Office, it's not that big of a deal for me. Like I'm not worn out on them. And I like all the people in Abbott, and I think it's really funny, and I'm still enjoying it. So, yeah, I mean, at least check it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Yeah. Like Sir Nicholas over here, or over there.
Bow to me.
This way.
I'm looking this way. It doesn't matter. Every episode, we're gonna forget.
But I'm still enjoying it. And then I also watched the penultimate episode of Book of Boba Fett.
All right. Yeah.
Which, by the way, you gave me some false info last week.
I wasn't sure. I looked it up and I got the wrong information. We thought that there was we thought that there were 6 episodes. We thought this episode was the last one. That is not true. It is.
Yeah. So I'm watching it and I'm like, this is a lot of stuff to be doing.
Yeah.
And they're not even talking about the big fucking war or whatever that's going to happen for half the episode. I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up in like 15 minutes? This is absurd.
So I feel like we've been treading a lot of familiar waters with Book of Boba Fett when it comes to how we feel about the show. But I know that it's doing a lot of different and radical things with what it's doing for these last couple of episodes. So 2 episodes ago, episode 4, it's building up to this climax, and we're thinking like, man, they've got so many more episodes to go. What's going to happen? And then episode 5 last week, we got this non-Boba episode where it's just basically Mandalorian season 2.5 leading into the 3rd season, which we all, like, for the most part thought, oh, that's, it's Book of Boba Fett, but, they had to do this in some way without just, like, leading directly into the Mandalorian. I still feel like we could have just had that as a whole first episode for season 3, but whatever. They had to tie him into Boba's story to, I guess, help him out because hype, I guess. And now this episode, episode 6, we have even more fan service and even more ridiculousness. Characters showing up that you would never expect, and it just seemed like I was riding this hype train going nowhere. And I honestly have no idea. I don't even remember the people that they're fighting on Tatooine. I mean, I vaguely remember, but it's just like I've completely forgotten about it. I'm more interested in what's going to happen in Mandalorian season 3 than in Book of Boba Fett series 1, if this is even going to continue on after this.
Yeah. I definitely get that sentiment. It's a very weird sort of strategy, I guess, in terms of like what they're trying to do, because up through episode 4 it was still conceivable, this is just a Boba show, and it's it hits well in some places, and then it's kind of lacking in others, and then it does this like hard right turn into Mandalorian, and it's like, okay, well, we have gotten episode -1 and episode 0 of Mandalorian season 3 at this point,
right?
Which is only slightly tangentially related to the goings on in Boba Fett.
Like they couldn't pull any other Star Wars like crime character to help Boba Fett out instead of the Mandalorian. Like, we had to build up on why he's going to do the things he's going to do in season 3. Like, that needed to happen.
Well, and in their defense, we kind of talked about this. I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before that, where I kind of am getting the feeling that this is like a test sort of show, you know, where to see, like, do we have the legs to, you know, do some outside stuff other than Ahsoka, or, you know, like, should we stick with Mandalorian primarily for this narrative thread? And I think that's why you see the split, where half the show is Boba Fett, and then the second half is steering hard into Mandalorian territory, because it's like, if you're doing something that you're not, like, I can foresee them doing this and being like, well, we're not sure how people are gonna like this narrative up to this point, so let's give them something to attach to. Let's give them what they want. They want more Mandalorian. They want more
Baby Yoda, Grogu.
Well, I don't want to spoil that, but yeah, sure. Yeah, Grogu.
That's going to be in the title and the description.
They want more, you know, extra characters you didn't expect, and fan service and stuff like that. So let's give them that. So at the very least, if they don't like the first half, then they like the second half. And I think there are positives and negatives to that, obviously, and we're seeing them play out.
It seems more like a Disney decision than a Filoni and Favreau decision. This seems definitely like, hey, we definitely want to start secretly marketing the next season of the next Star Wars show, even though it's not going to be Mandalorian. There's been rumors circulating that Obi-Wan could be premiering as early as May. But the fact that he's a familiar and well-liked character, the Mandalorian, and the characters that they introduce in this episode, it almost seems like, hey, you know, we established a story with Book of Boba Fett, but now that we can do something interesting with some of these other characters that are tangentially related, let's start, like, hinting at what will happen in the Ahsoka show, what will happen in Mandalorian Season 3, what will happen in Obi-Wan Kenobi, possibly. Because there have been rumors as well that it will take place during or on Tatooine at one point or another. So it seems definitely like a business decision to move the story in this way rather than a creative decision.
Normally, I might agree. I think the thing, though, with Favreau and Filoni at the helm, I think they're very much taking a strategy of let Feige do his thing, you know, just extrapolating that towards at least the television, quote unquote, division of Star Wars. They're still going to do whatever they're going to do with the films.
Did you mean Filoni?
But I think
you said Feige. Did you mean Filoni?
I was comparing how they treat Feige and letting him just kind of do his thing with Marvel.
I got you.
To Favreau and Filoni doing their thing with Star Wars, the shows in the Star Wars universe. I think they have a pretty good idea and control of generally what they want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point someone was like, oh, fuck, this Mandalorian show is really hitting it off. Can you come up with like 6 other shows based off this? And then just kind of letting them run with that.
Yeah.
I don't really see any sort of creative interference. If they were to come out and down the line and say, yeah, the only reason Boba was structured that way was because of executives, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me too much, but it would surprise me if they were like, they saw what we were doing with Mandalorian, and instead of trusting us, you took the reins and tried to run with it. Because the Star Wars films at this point are indicative of what happens when there's too much
executive
studio control.
Yeah. Which almost makes it seem like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it almost seems like they're trying to push more towards Star Wars television, and I know they're already doing this with Marvel. Disney knows that the Marvel TV shows are extremely popular. They're the talk of the town every time an episode comes out of the newest show. But it almost seems like they're pivoting more towards TV and streaming rather than movies, because they know that they're going to make more off of TV shows. Even though technically some of them can be more expensive than some of the movies that they end up producing.
Right.
So it's almost kind of like a catch-22 on whether they want to put out and invest in this movie that could potentially cost them $250 million, but make $400 million in theaters. Although with how theaters are going these last 2 years, it's kind of a toss-up.
It's 50-50.
Or invest the time and effort and money into creating an entire season of a show, which is more. It's more time that you have to invest in a TV show, and it's longer in development because you have multiple creative teams working on that show. So it'll be interesting to see where. I mean, that's what I'm basically saying, is that they're moving more towards TV, and it'll be interesting to see if they're going to just fully invest in TV in the future rather than films.
I mean, I don't think we're ever not gonna have Star Wars movies. You know, there was a 15-year, 20-year break in between Jedi and Episode 1.
I believe so. Yeah.
And it still came out. You know, so it's not that crazy to have, you know, a prolonged period of no Star Wars films, but I would heavily doubt that they would just like say, fuck it, we're never going to make a Star Wars, because that is money on the table.
Right.
That is legit money. Why would you buy that franchise and then just not make another Star Wars movie?
And they have the money to burn, so.
Yeah. I mean, they want to utilize that. They're not just going to buy a franchise like Marvel or Star Wars and then not.
No,
and
but
be like, okay.
I mean,
we'll just make TV shows for the rest of the.
But I mean, like investing in Solo, with Star Wars Story, was a sure, why not kind of investment rather than let's invest in episode 9 or episode 10 or episode whatever, an actual like new entry into that franchise. And I don't think that we're going to be getting Star Wars Episode 10 anytime soon, because they're going to be starting a new. That's what the TV basically is doing, is it's creating a new continuation of the story, and therefore starting a new saga, kind of what Marvel is doing after the Infinity Saga. So we're kind of like right in between these two major like changes in the franchise, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future.
Yeah, and all that to say, just getting back to the episode itself, I did really enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun fucking episode. Yeah. I can't deny that. It's just, you got to wonder what the general idea of the narrative flow was for this. But you know what, like. The thing that happened in the desert, I saw a shadow, and I'm like, that I know who that fucking is. Yeah. I'm getting hype, and then they let it build, and then sure enough, and that looks fucking great.
So the people who complained about how that character looked, and I know I've already spoiled one character appearing. This is completely different, but the people that complained about how he looked, and then the people who are justifying how he looked, I'm like, can't you just shut the fuck up and
just
enjoy it?
Just
enjoy that the character is there.
That's Star Wars. That's literally Star Wars. Can't you just shut up and enjoy it?
I know. I'm one of the few that's just like, I thought Rise of Skywalker was an amazing spectacle with all of the things that were wrong with it and that entire new sequel trilogy. I still like sat down and enjoyed those movies. Well, no, I mean, but like you could sit down, watch.
Yes, yeah.
What is the controversial one?
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. You can sit down and watch Last Jedi and go, if I lived in a world without this, I probably wouldn't feel any different. But now that I've seen it, it was a pretty enjoyable movie.
There is good stuff here.
There's good shit.
I'm enjoying certain things in it, and yeah.
Not apologists, and I can't wait to eventually, when this fucking little bit this clip blows up. We're not apologists, but like we sit down and we enjoy movies. Like you know what you're getting into, at least for the most part, when you're buying a ticket, hopefully. So, anyway, I thought I enjoyed the movie or the episode as well. I'm very confused and wondering where the story is going to go from here. I don't even know how many fucking episodes are left. But
it's one. It's the next one is the last one.
Okay, it's just a weird number, 7.
Flacking.
We've either had 6 episodes or 8 episodes or 10 episodes or 13 episodes. And it's just like we gotta pick a number.
I think Obi-Wan's gonna be 5 or.
That's so fucking weird. Like if you're just gonna do, oh my gosh, okay, all right, but just like,
so like on the flip side though, I do like on the whole the idea that you do not have to pad out a show's length just to get what you want out of it.
Absolutely. If you can't justify fitting a specific, that's the Netflix problem, is they stretch out a story into 13 episodes because they were ordered 13 episodes.
That's not just Netflix. That's network television.
Oh yeah,
as well.
No, yeah.
Well, we're gonna do a season order for 24 episodes. What do you got?
Looking at UCW.
Okay, well, I guess we'll do the beginning and the end, and then hope we can fill in the middle.
Yep, and it's all filler. Anyway, we've been talking about this for about 20 minutes now. So.
And then the last thing I watched was I was able to start and finish all of season 2 of Mythic Quest.
Oh, nice. So you had never seen this before?
I had seen the first season.
Oh, okay.
But I had not watched the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who are unfamiliar, can you describe what Mythic Quest is?
Yeah, Mythic Quest is by Rob McElhenney. Is that how you...
Rob McElhenney? Yeah.
Yeah, I can never pronounce his last name correctly.
McElhenney.
If you don't know who that is, it's Mac from Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
He made this show. It's about this video game development company with creative director who very much thinks he's the
Cliff Bleszinski of
the fictional world.
Of the fictional world, yeah. He's this diva superstar.
To put it in perspective, I think we might have mentioned this when we were talking about season 1 back in the day. His name is Ian, but he specifically pronounces it Ian.
Yeah, not Ian.
Of Ian.
Ian.
Yeah. So he's a little bit up his own ass, but it's a funny show. There is heart in it. It's sort of like your deranged, all these deranged lunatics kind of coexisting in one space and putting that into a video game development environment. And then it touches on certain things in game development, like the inequalities between male developers and female developers. There's an ongoing joke in season 2 about how everyone's just having the art department whip up something.
Yeah.
And then they'll like totally disregard whatever they do. Like, oh yeah, you can just whip it up. It's nothing. And it's like, no, we have master's degrees for this. We stayed up until 1 a.m. doing this.
That was one of the more uncomfortable running jokes because it's basically like minimizing crunch, which is a huge problem in the actual video game industry.
So this is part of what is a microcosm of what I was going to say about season 2. Season 1, you could feasibly make the argument that these are, on the whole, mostly decent people.
Yeah.
And then you're just seeing them on really bad days.
Yeah.
Season 2, much like how Always Sunny eventually just devolves into all horrific instances of whatever these people are getting up to. This is what Mythic Quest Season 2 has become.
Yeah.
They're all fucking deranged. They're all maniacs. They're all assholes. There's not one single good person. I mean, maybe 2 generally good people, but they're kind of insufferable most of the time.
They're a little bit more grounded in their characters than the It's Always Sunny gang. Because they're relatable. Everyone kind of has a F. Murray Abrams.
Yeah, I mean, no one's like coming to the dev table and being like, let's put in the dentist system or anything like but they are like yelling at the devs and like the techs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, like telling them to shut up and that
It's very juvenile.
they're like worthless, or they wouldn't amount to anything. So like it's what happens with basically every sitcom. It's just like everything gets dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
You just go to extremes. So if you watch season 1 and you're a fan of like the even more grounded approach, and then like these are kind of, I could see how these would be real people. The people here are not real people.
No.
They are caricatures of the people that are actually in reality.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff to say behind that, and it's really funny. It's just it's more absurdist most of the time now. That being said, I did enjoy it. I don't think I would call it great. It's a nice show to watch.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for watching it. I'm probably gonna. It's been renewed for
A third season.
Third and fourth season. Yeah. And that was back in October, I think. So we'll probably start. We'll see that sometime this summer, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably late summer.
And so I'll watch those, but I wouldn't classify it as like a Ted Lasso sort of show, where I'm like dying to get more.
Yeah.
I'll probably, the next seasons will be much like how I approached the second season, where I didn't dive on it right away, and by the time I did get around to it, all the episodes were out, so I was just able to binge it, and it was enjoyable, and then it'll just stay there until the next season comes out.
Right. I do think that the heartwarming moments and the heartwarming episodes on which they have been getting more in touch with in It's Always Sunny, the more recent seasons, they've been doing it more like there's some heart to it, especially the 15th season. It has a whole episode, like multiple episode arc. There was the episode with Mac coming out to his dad, which was like, it was tear inducing for me.
Yeah.
Rob McElhenney brings that over into Mythic Quest and is telling these stories that may not even be related to the video game industry itself, but is telling of people who have to go through personal issues and personal problems while being involved in the video game industry. There's the whole end of the season for season 2, I believe, with F. Murray Abrams' character and how he became
CW.
how he became who he was, and I thoroughly enjoyed that episode, as well as I don't know if the quarantine episode counts as season 2 or if it counts as...
It's a bonus episode off the back of season 1.
Okay, so like leading into that, I just remember talking about that on here.
Yeah. And then there's also the Everlight episode, which I actually hadn't seen before, so I did watch that before I watched season 2. And that was actually really good. And something interesting about these bonus episodes is that they actually incorporate them into the narrative of the next season. Yeah. So you're getting callbacks to stuff that happen in this sort of offshoot stuff. Like the Everlight episode has Carol, the HR person, just getting fucking slammed. Yeah, she's great. And then season 2, the very first episode, she's coming to work and she's got like sunglasses on. She's clearly hungover. Yeah. So like that little attention to detail is really good. I really enjoy that. And I do think, what you're saying about how it's more of just people surrounded by the video game industry, less so the video game industry itself, is definitely what it comes down to. Right. You start to get into a point where the fact that they're working at a video game company doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's the things that they're going through. I did enjoy the CW episodes as what they were. I did think it was a little out of left field to have to devote 2 episodes to that character.
2 episodes, in the first season, they did do an entire prequel episode that involves the people who bought the building that they work in. But and I think that's what they were kind of trying to do with this. But
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it actually involves one of the characters that we have already been introduced to and who we already know. So knowing where that character's future leads to, it's it almost seems like it kind of takes the wind out of the momentum of those 2 episodes. And dedicating 2 episodes as opposed to just 1 definitely takes away from the momentum of what the rest of the season kind of builds up to, especially towards the end.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the that flashback episode from season 1? Weren't those Ian's parents? Wasn't?
No, they're just people who started a video game company and then it kind of fell apart, and they bought the building that Ian's video game company presently works in. It's just
I thought he was related to them.
I mean, I could look it up, but I don't think so. It didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, even if that's not the case, those flashback episodes they clearly serve a purpose. Like in season 2. Of a large portion of the conflict is devoted to like this back and forth between Ian and Poppy, who's the co-creative director at that point, and these like buddings of egos and like not recognizing the forest for the trees. If that is, did I phrase that correctly? They're letting things get out of hand,
right?
Or they're not. Oh my god, I'm just tripping over. I'm just saying shit right now.
Okay.
They are more consumed with being the one in the right than coming together and working together.
Right.
And the CW flashback is like a direct correlation to that. So thematically, I get it. It's just it was a little strange to have that full stop, but quality wise, yeah, it was very enjoyable. It's I assume they're probably going to keep doing this flashback thing in the next couple next seasons as well. It seems to be something that it's like, oh, episode 7 is here, time for the flashback episode.
Well, I've enjoyed them in the past, so hopefully they'll.
But
yeah.
Writing wise, I think as much as I'm kind of iffy on the whole narrative flow, the kind of the Boba Fett problem with having that episode there with that character, writing wise, I think both the flashback episodes are the best in the series.
Right.
So it's just kind of it's a give and take for that.
So going back to Boba Fett, I found out just I don't think it was yesterday, but the day before, that apparently the time he spends with the Tusken Raiders is like 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. So he gets out of the Sarlacc pit, which takes he had been in it for a few months somehow, and he crawls out, and then he gets abducted by the Tusken Raiders, and that whole span of time is 5 years.
Boy, they did not communicate that.
No, and I don't think that was the point. I don't think they were trying to communicate the time span, but that explains why he was so dried out and like he had not recovered and gotten the medical treatment that he needed, and that's why he was in the back to tank at the beginning of or in the present day.
Yeah. Where did you see that? That was the time frame?
It's all over.
It's floating around.
Yeah, it's floating around. It's been confirmed because it is lining up with The Mandalorian taking place at a specific time period. And so they're just putting a lot of like, you know,
I did not like. I thought that whole thing was like a couple months I could get, maybe even a year, but 5 years I did not get that was that long of a time.
Yeah, from when he falls into the Sarlacc pit at the end of Jedi to apparently when Mandalorian season 2 ends. That's the timeline that people were kind of working with, and so they did the math. Smarter people than me did the math. So
see, that's that kind of like ancillary bullshit. Then I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It takes place after Empire, or it takes place after Jedi. The Empire's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't need to know the year count. Like,
no, I mean, it kind of changes the context, but at the same time, it almost just like it also doesn't matter. Like if I didn't tell you that, it wouldn't have changed anything. So
it's whatever. Star Wars is gonna Star Wars, but. Anyway, that is everything I watched, sir. Let's move on to you. Show me what you got.
Oh boy,
what'd you bring to the table?
Oh boy, I've got some Lipton tea. It looks like piss. I've got my keys.
If you can see, that's my drink.
Ew,
there's some coffee in there.
Ew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just got poured. It's an espresso, or it came out of an espresso.
Oh, so it's like a smaller amount.
So it like steamed it.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really drink coffee. Am I weird for not drinking coffee?
No.
I've got Pop-Tarts, brown sugar cinnamon.
Nice.
I've got Baja Blast.
Hey, I had Taco Bell today.
I am also cheap and sad.
Oh, man. Taco Bell, also the #1 Mexican food restaurant as voted by the people of the United States.
Where's this information?
Oh, yeah, you don't remember? I think it was 2020 or 2019.
The sad years, the years I don't want to remember. The people
Either the sad years or right before the sad year. Yeah, there was some kind of poll taken where it was like, what is the best Mexican restaurant in the United States?
Taco Bell?
The majority of people answered Taco Bell.
Not Del Taco.
That is
not Taco
that
Bueno.
is
Taco Cabana.
The epitome of the American electorate.
Fucking Rosas. You could literally say any other Mexican food. You can list off a place that I had never even heard of that is only
Literally
in, like,
anything
Idaho.
that was actually Mexican would probably a good start.
Exactly. You have failed yet again, America. So, moving on to what I watched. I watched, so out of the 2 movies that came out this weekend, there was Jackass Forever and Moonfall. And I knew I was going to win with whichever movie I picked. I ended up picking Moonfall.
That was
And
a bad choice.
I mean,
Not sure why you thought you were going to win with that one.
I mean, I knew, so here's the thing.
Let's see, sci-fi, Roland Emmerich? What could possibly go wrong? We didn't really just have a terrible Independence Day sequel that came out within the last 5 years.
Still
or
have
anything.
yet to see it, and I was actually going to do like a Independence Day, then Independence Day Resurgence, and then Moonfall.
I would sooner blow my brains out.
I'm glad I didn't, because I would have wasted about 4 hours of my life. Not to mention this movie is a little bit longer. I didn't look up the runtime, but it felt a little bit longer, especially leading into the second half of the movie. But
When you're like, God, please end.
the world is already... The moon is here, all right, guys?
Why are we still letting Emmerich do 2.5-hour movies?
I don't know why you think you can save the planet when the Earth is literally rubbing its tits up against the Earth's ass. All right? Anyway, Moonfall, directed by Roland Emmerich, written by Emmerich, and produced by Emmerich, starring Roland Emmerich. No.
Notable anti-Marvel director, Roland Emmerich.
I think every director who has not directed a Marvel movie and is not getting the residuals from the success of a Marvel movie is just fucking pissing their pants and mad like a baby because they're not involved in Marvel. That's their
I
own
think it's
fault.
just so funny that we started here with fucking Scorsese of all people.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, yeah, he's kind of a wad for saying it. He's bit up his own ass, but sure. I mean, he's whatever.
Really?
It's Scorsese.
Really? The Irishman?
Yeah, but I mean, like compared to the rest of his work, generally it's more well received than the. I never watched The Irishman, so I just assume it's a slog, and I'm not going to watch it.
You can watch The Departed, which I will always throw under the bus over any other movie, and you will have a far better time than The Irishman. It's 3 hours of just
then
bad CGI.
But then you come off of like a notable, regardless of whether or not you like his work, a notable director like Scorsese to fucking Ridley Scott, who hasn't done a good movie in like 20 fucking years, and Roland fucking Emmerich, like
Christopher
the guy
Nolan,
that
too.
did Godzilla, the American Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna stand on a soapbox? Come on,
They're
bro.
all of the... I'm telling you, it's literally all of the directors that are just pissed that they didn't get involved in the franchise. They had every opportunity to. They technically still do, but you know that the people who work at Disney and Marvel, Kevin Feige's gonna hold a fucking grudge.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he is, because he's too busy swimming in his fucking pool, his money pool.
he's smoking his money pool?
No, he's swimming in it.
Oh, swimming in it. Okay.
He's like diving into his money bin like Scrooge fucking McDuck.
Moonfall, starring Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, John Bradley, who, as we all know, is Samwell Tarly in Game of Thrones, who is the highlight of the movie, by the way. He just plays Sam again.
Nice.
Michael Pena, Charlie Plummer, and Donald Sutherland shows up for about 5 seconds. Spoiler alert! I'll fucking spoil it. Donald Sutherland shows up and he comes into the scene and approaches Halle Berry, who's like in this secret document facility offsite thing, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I'm the new head of NASA, and I've come to recover this document about the secret project." "What is this?" He's like, "Well, the moon, fucking big old Dyson sphere.
It fell.
It's it's about to fall. You know, we're all fucked. Who gives a shit?" And then he rolls away, and it's implied before he even shows up to meet Halle Berry, he's putting a gun together. And then he puts the gun on his desk and puts a bullet next to it, and then he shows up and talks to Halle Berry, and then he wheels away. So it's safe to assume he shoots himself.
Presumably to shoot himself. So this is the end. Was it season 1 of The Walking Dead? Season 2, when they found out from the CDC what the reason behind the zombie
that was the end of
was?
season 1. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very much the energy I'm getting from your description.
Yeah. It's I mean, the moon is not an actual asteroid remnant kind of thing that scientists think. It's actually a big old Dyson sphere. So get on up there. And then they eventually, after shooting a rocket, avoiding a giant tidal wave that is somehow ripping up the Earth, but also not destroying it and all of gravity within it. Yeah, because the moon takes like the entire runtime of the movie to like just barely scrape the edge. It, of course, destroys New York.
Sure, of course.
And kills.
Emmerich hates New York. He fucking hates it.
Empire State Building, get out of here. You know, that's the first thing to go. Statue of Liberty, you're gone. Fucking the moon scraped you off the Earth with its tits. And, yeah, billions die, but of course, because gravity gets shifted a couple of times, you know, several characters get, like, they're fucking whipping around and stuff. But they fly I can't remember which space shuttle, but it's an actual space shuttle. I can't remember which one it was. But they managed to fly it up to the moon. Turns out the moon has been pushed out of its orbit by an evil alien AI made up of a swarm of nano machines. And when they land inside the moon, because of course the moon is hollow, and they're saved by the defensive AI.
What is happening?
I
can't get heads or tails of what the fucking moon is. Is it?
It's not actually a Dyson sphere. It's actually a planet with Earth, with human DNA, because humans are not from Earth. They're from a galaxy millions and millions of miles away and millions of years old. They were saved from the evil alien AI that they created as like an Alexa or a Google Home. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't turn it on. Start it all over for us. But turns out humans were an advanced species that lived in a galaxy millions and millions of light years away, and they created an AI that eventually, you know, fucking rose up against them, classic, and destroyed the entire civilization. So Americans, only Americans. Sorry. Humans eventually built moons and shot them out all over the universe to hopefully revitalize our civilization. And Earth is the last one, with Moon being its, I guess, its egg that we had come from. And the defensive AI is like, "Patrick Wilson, you need to save us." He's like, "All right, sure, but first I'm going to sacrifice myself and save Samuel Tarly and Catwoman." But it turns out Samuel Tarly sacrifices himself so that he could be integrated into the AI and save the information for later whenever we eventually fuck up Earth beyond description. But all that to be said, you know, I mean, there's two different stories. There's the Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, like, we need to save the planet, so let's go to the moon. And then there's the Patrick Wilson's son, who's a piece of shit, and Halle Berry's kid trying to basically outrun the moon crashing into the Earth.
Sure.
And so both of those things, it's just constantly like back and forth between the momentum of these stories. And everyone tries their best, but I feel like everyone basically knows what movie they're in.
Everyone tries their best, but in the end, the moon will still fall.
No, because they eventually, because they are able to blow up an EMP, which disables the evil AI. The moon, which was scraping against New York City, just goes back to its normal orbit for some reason, because that's how gravity works.
So we just have the moon at this point is now a dead robot.
It's a big Death Star.
It's a dead Alexa.
It's a big Death Star Alexa that is like, oh, okay, we're crashing into it. Well, no, there's a defensive AI. The defensive AI, which was able to somehow not be penetrated by the EMP, is able to rocket itself out of the orbit of the Earth, and so humans are safe. 3 out of 5 stars.
I think I'm taking more damage from this explanation than the entirety of you relaying the Resident Evil franchise.
I mean, I'm trying my best. I'm also not very good at recapping movies. I've smushed together. I got rid of all the fat just now. I went from the first act to the last act. There's a lot of in between nuance. Like, I love
nuance in an Emmerich film. I'm sure that exists.
Well, I mean, it's got the same basic like father who's trying to get his son out of trouble because they're constantly trying to start shit.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, or Independence Day, or literally every movie. It's all about a dad trying to make sure that his son is safe from this apocalypse kind of thing. I don't know what.
Definitely the guy that you want to listen to about the repetitiveness of Marvel movies.
Yeah. Who's to say? Who's to say if this will be a blockbuster? You know what I mean? I'm sure glad I went to go see Moonfall, which you can check out in theaters now.
The difference between Moonfall and Jackass is that Jackass, you get to see somebody else get kicked in the nuts, and Moonfall makes you feel like you are getting kicked in the nuts.
Exactly. My balls hurt. So the next thing that I watched was... Oh, sorry. Last little fun fact about Moonfall.
Because I can't get enough of it.
You're welcome. Just the last thing. With $138 to $146 million budget, of which Huai Brothers financed about $40 million, it is one of the most expensive independent films ever produced. This was not produced by a major studio, and I don't know why. He said sarcastically. I know exactly why. Fucking Hollywood is sick of Emmerich's bullshit.
I think we call this a money pit.
Yeah, they're like, wait, I distinctly remember Resurgence not doing well, so I think we're going to pass, head of Universal here. So, all that to be said, the people who were upset with how the movie turned out have never watched an Emmerich movie before. Like, they didn't set their expectations in the right place, I think. I mean, just, again...
My expectations are exactly where I think they should be, meaning I will not watch this movie.
You are going to watch it eventually. You're going to watch it and you're going to be like, holy shit, this is great.
No.
So the next thing I watched was Reacher, which is an Amazon Prime Video series based off of the Lee Child's book series, and it's the Jack Reacher character.
Feels like we get like a different Jack Reacher thing like every 3 years at this point.
I mean, well, kind of. So for the general audience who...
you know what? Never mind. I did it again. I'm conflating Jack Ryan and Jack Reacher.
Yep, you did it again. I specifically remember after we talked about Jack Ryan season 2 that you confused him with Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Full circle. That's a long arc for us. But you did it again, man. That's John Krasinski. A totally different handsome guy.
Well, why are they going to have two white guys named Jack with the last name starting with R?
Because it's a very American name. I don't know. There's also Jack... I almost said Jack Ryan. I'm like, that's literally who we just talked about. Who's another Jack?
There's Jack from Lost.
There's Jack from Lost. Yeah. So,
Jack and Jill of Adam Sandler fame?
No, you just go back to the normal story. You don't have to mention the fucking movie. So the last time that we saw Jack Reacher, it was Tom Cruise, and he was fighting off like secret government agents who were, at the highest levels of the government, and Colby Smulders was there. It's not Smulders. Colby's...
Yeah.
Is it Smulders? Okay. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. I'm like, Smulder is also the the character from X-Files, right?
Mulder.
Okay, I just added an S. I can't remember. There's so many fucking TV shows and movies to watch. So the chick from X-Files and the guy from Top Gun, they were in a movie back in, like, I think that was 2012. Help me out when the second Jack Reacher movie came out. Can you look that up?
Yeah. Let's see.
But this series, developed by Nick Santora, who also wrote The Sopranos, The Guardian, episodes of Law and Order, Scorpion, and helped develop FBI, the more recent kind of Law and Order clone.
I just search for Jack Ryan.
Son of a bitch.
2012.
2012, okay, was the most recent one. So it's been a while. It's been literally 10 years since the last Jack Reacher adaptation. Meanwhile, we've had multiple seasons of Jack Ryan in between, so...
To confuse us all.
Yeah.
So what does Jack Reacher around get into?
Jack Reacher... Did you do that intentionally?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So the biggest complaints that people had from the Jack Reacher adaptation starring Tom Cruise is that he's a 5'4" munchkin man with brown hair and tiny muscles. And he's also fucking insane. This one stars Alan Ritchson, who you may remember from Blue Mountain State. He's in Titans. He was a very small part in Hunger Games: Catching Fire. But he's Thad from Blue Mountain State, so he's like 6'3" tall, blonde-haired Jack Reacher.
He's a big dude.
He's a big, tall guy.
He's fucking
He played
huge.
Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the voice and the mocap for it, of which he hated. And also stars Malcolm Goodwin, who was in iZombie. He was the detective on there, and Willa Fitzgerald, who has been in just a whole bunch of TV. I couldn't narrow it down, but it basically follows the first Jack Reacher novel written by Lee Child called Killing Floor. And it's about Jack Reacher, who is this former military MP who, with decades of experience, he has a Purple Heart, Navy Cross. He has all of it. He's a badass. And he strolls into town in this small town in Georgia, hoping to find out the history of this blues musician who died decades before. Only to find out he's been involved in kind of this murder mystery plot involving his brother, the local government, and this rookie cop who he's trying to kind of take under his wing. It's kind of got that whole, middle-aged white dad kind of energy. This is what he's going to watch and enjoy. It's the Tom Clancy.
Fall asleep halfway through.
Not Under Siege, but Hunt for Red October. The Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan. He's going to watch those movies. He's going to watch,
White House Down.
That kind of shit.
Fallen,
yeah. So, but the thing I will say is that the character of Jack Reacher is pretty much one for one with the Tom Cruise version. He's very this tall, stoic. He's going to say awesome one-liners, or he's not going to say anything at all. He knows exactly how to handle himself. He's not like a, rugged, reach for the sky, cowboy kind of type. He's just there. He's just there for one or two reasons, and then when push comes to shove, he's willing to push back. It's kind of just this... It's a very machismo kind of feeling you get from watching the show. But I will say some of the dialogue and a lot of the action set pieces and a lot of the fight choreography, really well done. And really well budgeted show. I think from what they're able to do with not only the graphic violence and the way that they're able to translate the story from the book to the TV show, I've heard nothing but good things from fans of the book. I have not personally read Killing Floor, but I'm interested now that I've watched the series. Full disclosure, I've only watched 5 of the 8 episodes. I unfortunately ran out of time. It just recently came out. But I plan on finishing it in the next couple of days.
Nice.
So if you're a fan of the character after watching the Tom Cruise movies, you've got even more content that's even more faithfully adapted from the book itself. And it's actually produced by Lee Child as well. So you know that it has kind of that endorsement as well.
And then once you get through all of Jack Reach
You're
Around,
gonna say
then you can, graduate to the porn version, Jack Rimmer.
so. The next show I watched was Murderville. Based
Oh yes, okay. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because this looked really good.
So Murderville, which is based partially, like very loosely, on Murder in Successville, a BBC kind of murder mystery comedy series where celebrity guests will show up as a new police detective and are kind of led around a murder that they have to try to solve. Except the trick is that the celebrity guest doesn't have a script, and they have to discover who the murderer is and solve the murder by themselves. They're given clues throughout the episode, and it kind of goes from there.
It's a improv murder mystery,
Right?
Sort of.
It's kind of like if you and your family decided to sit around the table and play Clue, and then Mandy Moore was there, and you're like, Mandy Moore, you got to solve. Here's all the clues. Mandy
Please,
Moore.
Mandy,
come on,
help us.
You got to give us this walk to remember. All right. That's the only movie I remember her in. Oh, This Is Us. Yeah, she's in that. So the American series, just called Murderville, stars Will Arnett, Hanifa Wood, and Lillian Bowden, who was in Annie Mac. She was one of the main characters in Annie Mac. Doesn't matter. Will Arnett, from everything. He's BoJack Horseman, Lego Masters, Lego Batman, Lego Movie, all those. He does a lot of voice acting more than he does anything. Arrested Development, that shit.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the senior detective who has to kind of lead the celebrity guest around. And you get anywhere from Sharon Stone to Ken Jeong to Marshawn Lynch to Kumail Nanjiani. There is... I cannot remember her name from Schitt's Creek. The daughter. I feel bad.
Didn't watch Schitt's Creek, so I couldn't tell you.
Fuck, I thought everyone else did.
I can look it up, though.
Okay, thanks. And each episode, I think, does the job well. I think a lot of the celebrity guests do a pretty decent job at trying to solve the crime, but they do not all succeed. However, there's no real ramifications from them not solving the murder because it's not an actual murder. It's just, it's all staged. And they kind of...
Annie Murphy.
Annie Murphy, thank you. She's in it. She's one of the celebrity guests. I will say some of the highlight episodes were Sharon Stone, Marshawn Lynch, and Kumail Nanjiani, because they all they really get into their the plot of the character. Yeah. Because they're basically playing themselves. I laughed my way throughout the entire series. I do think that it's very juvenile in its execution. I think the crimes that they're solving are very rudimentary. I think most people could probably solve the crimes that they give. But it's a 30-minute episode. They don't do a lot with it.
It's just fun.
It's a fun, quick 30-minute episode where you're like, oh, there's that actor that I watched from that one thing. They're trying to solve this thing.
I recognize them. They're the famous person on the cube box.
The best part of the show is watching the celebrity guests just totally break down into laughs. Will Arnett is trying to set them up to break character. It's almost like it's played for comedy. And I think Will Arnett never got annoying for me, which he kind of does for some of the things that he's in. Personally, sorry, Will. I know you're watching. He's a big fan. Sorry.
Can we talk then? Because I am a big fan.
Oh, you are? Of Will Arnett?
Yeah.
Well, say hi.
I love everything he's in. So.
Well, there you go.
Pretty much.
There you go. Will, yeah. Sign his leg or something? I don't know.
Yeah, he can sign the leg.
I will say I enjoyed it. It's only 6 episodes. It's a quick breeze through the entire series. And like I said, the celebrity guests that I thought did the most with their episodes. Not every celebrity gets it right. So just enjoy it for what it is. I think the series that they base it on, because remember before I said it was very loosely based on it. I managed to watch the first couple episodes of Murder in Successville, which came out just a few years earlier. And they do something completely different where they have a celebrity guest who's trying to solve a murder as well, but they play it more seriously. Like, it's obviously funny, like they're involved in funny moments, but
It's dry humor.
it's dry humor. It's dry British humor. But also there's impressionists who are playing celebrities as characters. So, like, the police captain is Gordon Ramsay, as opposed to just a police captain.
Yeah. That's
So
pretty good.
it's more, it's smaller and less nuanced in the American version and more simple. But I will say the British version is just as funny. It's just a different flavor, obviously.
So if you were to finish Murderville and then still wanting more, you could feasibly go over to...
You could. A lot of people probably won't recognize the people that show up on Murder in Successville just because they don't use, at least from what I've seen so far, they don't use a lot of very well-known British actors. It's not like you're going to see Daniel Craig show up as Mary Berry. I mean, so it's not going to be something like that. But yeah, it's like I said, 6 episodes.
Do
on
you
the
watch
Netflix.
Bake Off?
No, I know who.
You can watch it, but every time I come on here and I'm like, yeah, Bake Off, you're like, Bake Off.
Yeah, I know who Mary Berry
Have you been
is.
living a
though.
lie?
No, what? I gotta take down some posters.
We got to do a Bake Off podcast.
We don't
man.
have to do a Bake Off podcast. If you want to see a Bake Off podcast, you're gonna have to sign up for a Patreon at patreon.com/goodgoose, and I mean a significant amount. If you want to see that happen, like a movie themed Bake Off, we can do that. All right.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Patreon.com/goodgoose. All right, and the last thing I watched, because it's a part of the top 100 movies poster that I have that I mentioned in an episode before, was Up. And that is the 2009 Pete Docter animated film from Disney Pixar. Starring, if you're not familiar with this, it's a Disney Pixar film. Either you've seen it or you've avoided it this far and you don't give a shit, which is fine. You know me. I have mentioned about 1,000 times on this episode about how I'm not a huge animated kids movie connoisseur. I know that back in 2009 I watched this and I enjoyed it because I was working at the movie theater when it came out. This was one of the few Pixar movies that came out when I was working at the movie theater, and I enjoyed it. I will say, having grown up and matured, that
Oh yeah. Guy who just saw the Emmerich film and thought it was 3 stars has matured.
it was successful in what it did. Anyway, I will say that in the first 10 minutes, the typical, wow, why am I crying so much scene of, can I spoil it? It's old enough.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows.
Okay.
Right? Like, good wholesome family fun filled with balloons, emus, and miscarriages.
Oh, God. I never thought that it was a miscarriage thing. I thought that it was she just was told that she couldn't have kids.
They were pregnant beforehand.
I never noticed that fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. They lose a kid. No, so it's about a young boy who meets a young girl, and they're both they love adventure. They end up going through a 10-minute montage of them growing up and growing old together, which, by the way, realizing the nuance and knowing that where the story is going to go, or not even remembering where the story is going to go and not taking that into consideration, but realizing by the end of the montage when the wife is fucking dead, bye Ellie, is, hey, how about you just enjoy the fact that you were in a relationship for your entire fucking life with the love of your life, and wow, it's like you didn't get to do the one thing that you got to do with her that you promised you would do with her, but guess what? You got to live an entire fucking life with her. So why are you mad? Why are you grumpy? Be happy. I mean, yeah, she's sad. She died, but she died of old age, right? She didn't get hit by a car, I assume.
I mean, congratulations on undercutting the crux of the movie.
Yeah,
yes.
that is
that's
literally
the point of the movie.
I picked out the crutches of this film. But whatever, like, enjoy the things that you have, living the life with. You're a happily married man, Zach, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a test. Good job, you did it.
It's very easy to answer. Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of your life, 100 years from now, because you're a healthy man, I assume.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, one of you's gonna pass away. Sorry, that's life.
Science will catch up.
Science will catch up. You think? You think in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Our lifetime, our generation, and the generation under us, looking at the people who are on TikTok.
Make it so, yeah.
Okay. Cryogenically frozen like that fucking Disney bastard. You're gonna die, and then the other one is gonna be sad. Or not you. Sorry. One of you is gonna die, and then the other one's gonna be sad. I don't want to imply who. But you're both gonna be happy because you lived a long, fulfilling life, having seen all the things that you saw through the screen of your television or movie screen or window. I don't know if you want to touch grass or whatever. That's bullshit anyway. I think if you were able to do that, then you have successfully lived life. Like, you accomplished the goal that everyone else could. I mean, otherwise you're dying young. You're giving your life away to drugs or to money.
What is this?
I don't know.
It's going off the rails.
I'm feeling like I'm in a dark place now. It's honestly, it's
you're the one that's telling me I'm gonna die, and you're in a dark place.
It's up. This is what up does to you.
I think I know what you're getting at. To answer the question, just to head you half of the past, get to the question I think you want to ask.
Get me to the Paradise Falls.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can still be sad. Like, yes, I have seen my life as happy that I got to spend so much of it with the best person I'll ever know and my best friend. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, you mean your wife? Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, sorry to disappoint you. But on the flip side, I'm also going to be a fucking wreck. You know, it doesn't matter how long I got, I'm always going to want more. So, you know, I mean, like, I get it. And the point of the movie is move on eventually. You know?
Eventually, after a little bit of time. You know, when you see the last page of your fucking adventure book and it says, go out and start your new adventure at the age of 89 or whatever. with a small Asian boy and a talking dog. Go do that.
I'm starting to recognize why you're not a Pixar fan or anything. And it's because you're dead inside.
It's because I know all of the things that are wrong with the world, and you're
a jaded, bitter old man.
You can't paint a 3D CGI cartoon fucking cover over it and tell me that I'm not getting pissed on, all right? Or whatever. I forgot the phrase. Anyway, this has been Lights, Camera, Nonsense, giving you all the latest movie magic.
And on that.
Yes! I'm fucking sad now. This has been Lights, Camera, Nonsense, giving you all the latest movie magic you may have missed. Stay tuned for an extra bonus episode on our Patreon. Zach, I have bonus things for you.
Oh, you gonna bone me?
Make sure to tune in every week for all the latest news, reviews, and what else, Zach?
How do you do?
Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.